Follow along in this tutorial and learn 3 extremely helpful text tips that you can apply to your Adobe InDesign workflow. In this lesson, I'll show you how to apply paragraph borders and shading to a main title, add paragraph rules, as well as use a hidden gem, conditional text, to create multiple versions of text within the same frame. So let's jump right into this lesson and start creating. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see on my screen here, I have an 8" by 8" square postcard for a fictional women's fashion line. And you can find this Adobe InDesign document. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find all the files and all the assets for this lesson. The first text tip we'll be looking at is called paragraph borders and shading. This allows you to add a border around text or shade a text frame. Let's start off by clicking the type tool. I just want to add some text here, which will become our main title on this first page. So I'm just going to drag out a frame about that size. Now this is going to be a 50% off everything sale for this fictional women's clothing store. So let's type just that, 50% off everything. And the typeface I'm going to be using for this, once again, one of my favorites is Degular Display, and I want it to be black. That's the weight size, and I'm really going to bump this up in size. So a shortcut for that is Shift Command greater than. If you hold your Option key down along with that, that would be Alt on Windows. It will scale up in larger increments. So I want it to be, let's make it 68 or so. So I'll just type it in, 68. And I'm going to double click here and then extend that frame. And I want the word everything to be on its own line. And I'm going to tighten up the leading. So I'm going to hold my Option key and the up arrow. That can be done here in the control panel right here. You see, I can tighten up the leading, which is the line spacing. Alternatively, you can also do that here in the properties panel. So whatever you feel more comfortable with. Now this text here, I want it to be, I have a couple colors here that I like. I want it to be this purple that I've set here. And you can see in my swatches panel, I have 2 colors here that I'll share with you as well. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to add a rule next to text, whether it be a main headline or in body text? You likely went to the line tool and then you would draw out a line like so, and you would go to the properties panel and you would increase the stroke weight like that. The only problem with this is when you edit or update the main title, whether it increases or decreases in size, or if you're just changing the words, you're going to have to adjust this line separately. So I'm going to show you how to add a line, a border, inside the text frame. So I'll just get rid of that, and I'm going to double click in here, and I'll just put my cursor at the beginning, and then I'm going to go to this icon here, this menu option icon in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to select paragraph borders and shading. And what this does, it offers you, or allows you to turn a border around the entire word inside the frame. The only problem is I don't want the entire border. I just want it to be on the left-hand side, and I want to just adjust the offset and add some space between that, what will become a rule, and the text. You could leave it like this if you wanted a border around the text. You wouldn't have to draw a frame around it. This is how you would do it. So let's focus on the border settings here. I want to uncheck this right here, and I want to set them all to 0 for now. And the only one we want to add to this selection is the left. So I'm really going to crank that up. Let's go to about 7 for now. And we can choose the type. So I just want this to be a solid rule. And because I went ahead previously and set up colors for this theme, I'm going to choose maybe the dark version for now. And next, I want to adjust the offset here. Much like we adjusted just the left side, I want to adjust just the left side here. So let's unlink it. If you don't do that when you adjust it, it's going to adjust all the offset. And again, I'm just going to push that more out to the left. Let's go to about, we'll try something like that for now. And let's maybe even make it a little bit thicker. Maybe 10 point is fine. And then down below here, you can adjust the edges. You can notice that the bottom edge extends past the actual text. So I want it to line up with that text. Let's align the bottom edge to baseline, and you can see that it adjusts nicely. So if I go ahead and click OK, now I can update this text. So let's just say it's now 75% off everything. And you can see the more I type, if I extend this frame, watch this. If I extend this frame this weekend, do you see the rule extends with the text? So that's a very helpful tip when you're creating a rule meant for text. This way you don't have to adjust that line when you adjust the text. So let's go back to 50% off everything. And again, I'm just going to double click. The only thing I want to do here is I want this rule to line up with everything else. So I'm just going to move this over to the right side. I want the left side of that rule to line up with everything else. I'm just aligning it up with the margin there, okay? Now I'm just going to bring this in. Let's double click and let's go into paragraph borders and shading once again. And I'm going to click shading up here in the top portion of the window. Click that and let's turn the shading on. And in this case, I want the color to be that light, the lighter purple that I've set up for you. And let's go ahead and let's adjust the offsets here as well. So let's unlink it and we'll adjust the right side because I want the right side of that box to be out a bit. And I also want the top of it to be a little bit up as well. You noticed it was too snug to the text, so I want to add some separation there. Okay, something like that works maybe, and you could adjust the other ones if the bottom needs adjusting as well. You could play with the tint here, so if you think that's a little too light or not light enough, you can make it 10%, you can make it 40%. 40% is nice, and what I like to do is if I hit OK here, I can go into, if I click with my selection tool, I'll click that frame, and I can just give it a 90% opacity, and you get that nice transparency there as well. So not only do you get the shading, but you get that transparent look as well. All right, let's move on to the second example here. So I left some space down below where I'll add some details about shopping and saving online. I have some text here that I'm just gonna copy over and paste into my layout. And I'm just gonna place it right under that title and snap the right side to that margin. I'm gonna select this text, and this will also be degular, but it'll be degular, let's go with thin, and let's increase the point size to say 26. I'm gonna double click the bottom handle to make that fit. I don't want hyphenation in this, so to turn that off, go to your properties panel and then go to hyphenate. You can find that under the paragraph portion here. You can also find that by going to type and then paragraph, and then hyphenate will be right there. By the way, a lot of the settings that I'm showing you in this example here can be found here in the paragraph panel. I'm just accessing it from the properties panel and control panel, but you can access it here as well if you open the paragraph panel. Okay, I'm just gonna close it because I like working from those options up top. Now that I have that selected, I'm just gonna tighten up that leading option up key. Maybe one more, that's good. Maybe 27, that works for me. I'm gonna make it that dark purple color. And let's go ahead and double click the bottom. Perfect. So what I'll do now is I'll just bring this down just a bit. And again, I'm just gonna place my cursor at the beginning. You don't have to select anything. Go up to the control panel and go to paragraph rules. This is the second text tip in this lesson. So go ahead and click that. Much like I showed you how to add a rule next to text, this also allows you to do the same, only above or below. So I want a rule above just to separate the headline here, the title, and the details. Now, of course, you could draw in a rule using the line tool, but I like doing this, especially if you're going to update the text, the rule will follow along with it. I'm just going to make the point size 3 for now. The type, let's make it Japanese dots to go with the theme here, the dots of this brand that I've created. And let's go ahead now and change the offset. So let's increase the offset here and just eyeball it to see you want equal space between the details and the title here, okay? And I'm gonna increase the weight a little bit more, something like 6. Let's go 5. Perfect. And the text color, we can go ahead and leave that dark purple. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click OK. Now you'll notice again, if I wanted to change this, this is new text. You can see that the paragraph rule stays with that. Okay, so you can leave that as is. The cool thing about this is if I created a paragraph style out of this, let me just click anywhere in there. You could select all of it. In my properties panel, this is where I usually add my paragraph styles. So let's do that. I'm going to create a new style by clicking this plus icon here. And let's just call this promo details. Okay. Now, if I go to my paragraph panel, paragraph styles, I'm just going to tear it off here. There's promo details. I'm going to select the selection tool and click out. If I double click promo details, I can click on paragraph rules and I can make any changes here. So if I wanted to increase the weight of that paragraph rule, I can do that here. So if I wanted it from 6 to 7, there you go. If I wanted to change the color of it, but not change the color of the text, you can do that as well. And then I'll just click OK. And so that changes in real time when you change it in the paragraph style. This last text tip is called conditional text. It's a hidden gem, one that I love to use when I'm creating different variations of text within the same frame. So I'm going to make my way to the third page in this layout, and you can see I left some space down below. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go back to page 1, copy this title, Command C, go to page 3, Shift Option Command V to paste in place. And so what I want to do here is this is great for template work. So let's just say I wanted to have different versions of the percentage figures in the same frame that we could turn on or turn off, much like you would see using layers. So instead of having different frames and then turning those layers off, we can do that within the same text frame. Let me show you what I mean. So here is an example. I have 50%. And I'll type in 60%. That might be a sale a couple months later. And then maybe down the road, it would be 70%. 70%. So there are our figures. We have 50, 60, and 70, and they each have a space after. So we can set it up where we hide and show the ones we want. Let me show you how it works. Let's go up to Window, Type and Tables, and choose Conditional Text. Now we have to add 3 conditions here. And to add a condition, you would just click this plus icon, add new condition. Let's call this 50%. You can leave all the other settings as is, unless you have a specific way you want to set things up, but these settings will work, so just hit OK. Let's set up another new condition, which will be 60%. Click OK. And let's add another one, which will be 70%, and click OK. So I'm going to click on, or click inside this frame, and I'm going to select 50% and the space. And then I'm going to choose 50% in the condition. Let's do the same for 60%. Make sure you're grabbing that extra space and click on 60%. Let's do this last one, 70%, and choose 70%. Now you can see I could turn these off, and there's 50%. And let's say, oh, the sale is now 60%. Turn off 50, turn on 60. Turn off 60, turn on 70. So that's a great way of containing all of that within the same frame. I'll show you another example here. So find your favorite spring and fall. You can see I have spring and fall in this text frame. So let me grab, actually, let's create 2 new conditions for the seasons. I'm going to click out of this just for a sec and click new condition. And this will be spring. Let's create one for fall. So new condition. And this will be fall. Click OK. I'm going to select the spring text and the space after. and let's click spring. You can see when I do that, it underlines it, the same color as the condition. I'm going to select fall and the space after, and let's choose fall in the conditions. Now I could turn fall off and there's spring, and then when fall rolls around, I could turn spring off and there's fall. This works great in body text as well. So if you have a letterhead, if you have anything that needs updating constantly, using conditional text is the way to go. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial that covers 3 helpful text tips that you can apply to your workflow using Adobe InDesign. If you found this tutorial helpful, leave a like or comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to get alerted when new video lessons are uploaded. If you'd like to learn more about Adobe InDesign, check out this playlist right up here. Until next time, take care and keep creating.